Yeah, one thing I'm wondering is, so when you look back into the first days of the app stores, then this was like the golden times where it was still easy to make money with
Yeah.
simple apps, right? Or easier than today, and to make more money with that. And I wonder if today the same is happening with stuff like crypto and NFTs. I haven't looked too much into these topics. I don't know much about them, but the amount of hype they get, I'm just wondering if I'm missing out by not focusing on them right now, because it seems like there is a new golden time
Yeah.
of something coming up. And being early enough means that you start with that before the whole popularity has noticed how this works and have figured this out. Have you ever looked into this topic, crypto, NFT, stuff like that?
Yeah, so NFTs I did. I think NFTs for me is too volatile in the sense that like a couple months ago they like people were selling crazy NFTs for silly amounts of money, and most of that silly amounts of money was rich people hedging their bet that this might be worth something in the future. And I think for the most part that probably won't pan out. But in terms of crypto, like definitely this is the golden, like right now crypto is like the gold rush, right? It's now you can get in and the only way is up. And obviously it depends what you pick. Like if you pick, some, coding inflow coin, then it might go up, it might not go up, you don't know. But if you're betting on stuff like Ethereum or Bitcoin or any of the big players, like the only direction they're going is up. And at least in my opinion, I don't see them going anywhere. I don't see them going down, especially Ethereum, because like Bitcoin's not going anywhere because it's the only term that most people that are not into crypto space know. And Ethereum's not going anywhere because most of the NFT contracts are built on the Ethereum blockchain. So, those are the two places that I would be betting if I was a betting man.
Okay, so you mainly talked about investing into the stuff,
Yeah.
right? I was more talking about the technology side of that, because
Okay.
NFTs right now, what most people think about when they think of NFTs are these images that you can buy and then suddenly for whatever reason they become super expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not really too interested in this kind of stuff because a lot of this feels like gambling for me.
Yeah. It is 100%. Yeah.
If there's no real system to it,
Yeah.
then
It's
it's
just
it's
it's just
basically
luck and
gambling.
chance. Yeah.
But the technology seems
Yeah.
interesting with these smart contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it would make sense to start building apps around this stuff and maybe have
I
a
gotcha.
business that
So
builds on this.
so if we were talking about that, I would say like the smart contracts NFT stuff is super interesting because of how it works. And I would be saying if you were going to build something app related to that, you would build a service or an SDK that lets other people drop this into their apps. And let's say you handle payments. So let's say you could have apps where it creates some sort of smart contract that says when the user gets this value from your app, they then automatically pay $5 to you, right? So then it changes that whole subscription based on a monthly fee or a yearly fee to, like for Read It To Me, it could be every time somebody's listened to 100 of their messages and had those read out, they pay $5. So you only pay for what you use. And then I would not put that in my app because I feel like that would be a lot of effort, but I would build the infrastructure so everybody could put it in their app. And I feel like that if you were looking at business time, that would be where the money is because they have that for podcasting, right? There's this thing called podcasting 2.0 is like a new podcast index where they're basically essentially adding tags to RSS that podcast players that support podcasting 2.0 can use. And one of the things that they have is this thing called value for value, which is basically you can set up as a creator. So for your podcast and my podcast, we can set up essentially like a lightning wallet. And then users who have a specific podcasting app that supports this can set up their thing on their end. And what that basically means is they pay you a fraction of a Bitcoin for every minute they listen to your podcast. So they're consistently streaming you small amounts of Bitcoin, like really small amounts. So they're not worth any money right now. But if you had a huge podcast and the bigger podcast apps picked up this feature, because any podcast app could drop it in, then suddenly, you could be making loads of money from your podcast based on people just streaming you money because they listen to it. And I feel like if you could find a way to apply that to apps in terms of like time used or, value delivered, however you'd want to measure it, then that would be a business idea. But I would definitely I would be like, build the network, like build the infrastructure so somebody could just drop it in as opposed to just build it for your app. Because unless your app is a huge app, then you're not going to make that much money from it. But if somebody else wants it and they can go and download your SDK, and maybe it's one of those models where a user streams their money based on how much they use the app, but 1% of that money gets streamed to you because they're using your SDK, then suddenly the way that you make money is based on everyone else's success.
Yeah, nice. I think there's a whole world of new opportunities coming
100%,
from
yeah.
that, and people should really look into that. And I definitely need to look more into that. And it's even called Web 3.0, right? Because it's the evolution of what we have right now, which is this Facebook and Twitter kind of stuff where one company owns all the data and they make the money from it, and we only get likes and hearts in return for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go too detailed about this because it's a whole different world, but it's something people should watch out for.
Definitely.
Because this is this looks like the next golden era coming up, basically. And I don't want to miss that one.